most things digitally, it's best to take things with a grain of salt.
People across 3 western states wondering why they got an alert on their phones about a strong earthquake that never happened. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. That alert about a magnitude 5.9 quake centered in northern Nevada went out mistakenly this morning, and it was sent to people across Nevada, Oregon, and California. KTVU's Janet Katsuyama has more tonight on how the USGS is explaining this false alarm.
I was kind of drowsy, 8 in the morning. I was in the shower when this thing hit, so when I got out of the shower, I checked my notifications.
Edward Kozerski was in the Bay Area on a business trip when he received the earthquake alert on his mobile phone at 8:06 a.m.
I click on it, and it loaded a whole map saying it was somewhere in Nevada. And it was like, check for crumbling buildings, check for anything weird with the street. And I was like, I didn't feel anything.
It turns out it was a false alarm. The Shake Alert warning system is operated by the U.S. Geological Survey, and seismologists at the Moffett Field office say they're trying to figure out what triggered the system.
The Shake Alert system is fully automated. It's listening to data all the time, and there was some anomalies in the data from Nevada that caused the system to interpret it as an earthquake.
Jeff McGuire is a Shake Alert seismologist, and he says the alert incorrectly said a 5.9 earthquake had happened in Dayton, Nevada, east of Carson City.
So a number of sensors detected what they thought was an incoming seismic wave, some on the Nevada side of the border and some on the California side of the border, and information was combined to make the alert.
The USGS quickly posted a correction.
There are humans assigned to be on watch 24/7. When the alert went out, they checked the data and determined that this was a false alert, and that led it to be removed from the web pages and things like that, which is standard operating procedure.
McGuire says the system requires data from a minimum of 4 sensors placed at intervals of about 20 kilometers in order to trigger an alert. Now, the scientists are reviewing the data and the algorithms to determine if the mistake was from the software failing to filter out a false trigger that can sometimes occur.
Many things can cause the ground to shake. Construction, big trucks. Most sensors are located in places that are relatively free from that kind of noise, but there's still any number of things that show up on our data all the time.
It's better to have something than not have something, but I think with most things digitally, it's best to take things with a grain of salt.
USGS seismologists say it could be days yet before they've completed their analysis, and they hope to take any findings from this and incorporate it into the next update of the Shake Alert app, scheduled for some time at the beginning of next year. Reporting from Moffett Field, Janet Katsuyama, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
A Los Angeles teenager has died in a fireworks explosion. Authorities say the blast happened last night in the backyard of a home. First responders rushed that 17-year-old victim to a hospital where he later died. Some neighbors in the area heard the blast.
Preparing for bed, and then I heard a couple of loud noises, and I thought it probably was a gunshot. And then I thought I heard it to be fireworks. And then I just, turned over, because in this neighborhood, I usually hear a lot of that. It's tragic. It's tragic, because I'm 71, so I've gotten to live a long time. And for a 17-year-old to not be here any longer because of negligence is kind of like sad.
Investigators say early indications suggest the explosive was a malfunctioning homemade or high-powered firework. Today, a bomb squad conducted a controlled detonation at that home after the discovery of more explosive materials on the property. A woman in Utah accused of killing her husband as he slept in their Cottonwood Heights home appeared in court today for her preliminary hearing. Jennifer Gledhill is charged with murder and obstruction of justice for the 2024 death of her husband, Matthew Johnson, who was a member of the Utah National Guard. Today's hearing was just 3 minutes long. The judge granted another pretrial conference coming up on January 29th. And we have an update tonight on those human remains that were found buried in the yard of a Southern California home earlier this week. A 74-year-old man who's already in jail has now been named a person of interest in this case. Fox 5's Kasia Gregorczyk reports tonight that he used to live on that San Diego property.
Several law enforcement agencies have swarmed this South Crest Street searching for answers and uncovering human remains. A 74-year-old man, Dwight Roan, has been named a person of interest in the case. Roan used to live at the property. A next-door neighbor who asked to remain anonymous shares her reaction.
It's something that I can't really describe the feeling of because, you never expect it to happen to you, because you see it on the news, you see it in TV shows, but you never expect the person to be doing things like that right next to you.
Online court records show Roan has nearly 20 criminal charges dating back to 1979, as well as several mental health related cases between 1996 and 2003. He's been in jail since last December, charged with a 2023 murder where Roan is accused of shooting a man and lighting him on fire on I-5 near State Route 905.
He had a short temper. He didn't like people parking in front of his parking spot. He didn't like anybody messing with his things.
Interactions were limited with Roan, but this neighbor says he rarely left the home.
He was always just there. He would be always fixing something in his house, cleaning his car, cleaning out something.
It's unclear who the human remains belong to at the Newton Avenue property or how long they've been there. San Diego Police cold case detectives and officials from the San Diego County District Attorney's Office are now investigating the discovery.
It is very shocking and very scary, especially because I would say hi to him all the time in the morning. We would chat a little bit. I never thought anything of it. I just thought he was, just a regular person living next door, helping the homeless out, letting him stay there for a little bit because the house is very big.
And that was Fox 5's Kasha Grigorchik reporting tonight from Southern California. Investigators stress that Roan has not been charged in connection with the discovery of those human remains. They do consider him a person of interest in the case. He has a court date set for next week in that separate 2023 murder case. California Governor Gavin Newsom is in Washington, D.C. to meet with federal leaders trying to pressure them for more wildfire recovery relief. The governor will be meeting with members of California's congressional delegation tomorrow, along with members of the Appropriations Committee. Newsom's office has criticized the Trump administration for not taking more action on a recovery proposal related to those January fires. Action from the White House and Congress is needed to unlock billions of dollars in aid for rebuilding. And speaking of rebuilding, the first person to completely rebuild a home after Southern California's devastating Eaton fire is now moving back in. Fox 11's Nick Garcia spoke with him about this emotional homecoming.
Ted Kerner and his dog Daisy May are the first Eaton fire survivors to return home to a rebuilt house. And on the new walls, something old.
I backed up the driveway, opened the door, walked in the house, took this picture and that picture off the wall, got back in the car and left.
In the 11 months that followed that night, Ted battled the permitting process. We first shared his story back in June. Now he's looking forward to hosting the friends who kept him going this holiday season.
I look forward to looking those people in the eye in this house forever.
Ted and Daisy May won't be the only ones to return to this area.
Now it's time to refocus and look at what the impediments are. And the one thing that's coming back is financially. Not everyone has a retirement that they can pull from to front load the build.
Because of Ted's determination, his house was finished ahead of schedule.
When we signed a contract, we said 6 to 8 months coming back home, and we made it in 4.
And it was built tough, with a concrete roof and tempered glass windows.
We ended up with a house that's pretty much a fortress against fire.
And that was Fox 11's Nick Garcia reporting tonight. The Eaton fire destroyed more than 10,000 homes and other buildings. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Rap, a Hollywood actress who's determined to help women through menopause, delivering a sharp critique of California Governor Gavin Newsom. Up next tonight, the governor's response to her suggestion that he's not doing enough for women's health.
In weather, here's our live camera in Seattle. A rainy forecast up in the Pacific Northwest. A current temperature of 46 degrees. We will update the forecast after the break.
I thought it was a bomb, literally, because it was that loud.
Also tonight, a head-on crash caught on camera, but the drama doesn't end there. We'll show you the aftermath that has left a number of people in this community amazed. Tonight, California Governor Gavin Newsom is responding to scathing criticism from actress Halle Berry, who called out Newsom for refusing to sign legislation that would have improved health insurance coverage for menopause-related care.
Gavin Newsom has vetoed our menopause bill, not 1, but 2 years in a row. But that's okay, because he's not going to be governor forever. And with the way he's overlooked women, half the population, by devaluing us in midlife, he probably should not be our next president either.
Berry made those comments last night while speaking at the New York Times Deal Book Summit. This year and last year, Newsom vetoed what's called the Menopause Care Equity Act. That measure would have required some health insurers in California to cover menopause treatments. In a statement last night, Governor Newsom said he vetoed the bills because they would have unintentionally raised health care costs for millions of working women. But today, TMZ caught up with Newsom, who said Berry's concerns are now being addressed.
The governor said, we are reconciling this. We are talking to Halle Berry's manager. She didn't realize that it is now in the budget. It's already in the budget, so we're gonna reconcile this. We've spoken to some people connected to the governor's office. This is what they tell us, is that yes, it was in the budget, but they don't typically announce what's in the budget until January 10th. And that was always the plan. And that's why they didn't mention it last night.
Halle Berry has been an outspoken advocate for women's health issues and also founded and owns a menopause health care company. Newsom has said that he is considering running for president in 2028. Hospitality workers threatening to strike in Las Vegas using civil disobedience to try to send a message. Last night, they blocked traffic near Harry Reid International Airport. 24 people wound up being detained here. The union members work at restaurants and bars in the airport and as porters. They're demanding what they call meaningful raises and protection of their health care benefits. The union right now is in the middle of contract negotiations with disadvantaged business enterprises. We reached out to HMS Host, which controls the enterprises, for a comment, and we are still waiting for a response. In the Bay Area, 2 separate teachers' unions went on strike today in the West Contra Costa Unified School District, but the teachers' union now has agreed to return to the bargaining table with the district. The United Teachers of Richmond and members of the Teamsters Union, which represents clerical, facilities, and paraprofessional staff, are both on strike. Both of those unions are striking over concerns about pay, health care, and working conditions. Teachers say these problems led to the district's inability to hire and retain educators.
Right now, there are 70 vacancies in our district, and that equates to 2,000 students who wake up every single morning without a full-time teacher. That is the scale of the crisis that we are facing.
In a statement today, the superintendent in the district says they are, quote, serious about getting this matter resolved. The district emphasizes the campuses are open during the strikes and students will still have access to school meals. We turn now to Washington, where residents and emergency managers in Thurston County are getting ready for the arrival of more wet weather. Emergency management officials have set up free sandbagging stations to help people prepare. Officials say while the forecast doesn't show rivers reaching flood levels, local creeks still are expected to rise.
It's residents, it's homes, it's streets, it's those small creeks, it's those small tributaries that are going to flood and then flood yards, which would have cascading impacts.
The county is also encouraging people to have a safety plan in place and discuss it with their family members. For more on the weather conditions in Washington and across the West, let's bring in KTVU's chief meteorologist, Mark Tamayo, who is tracking those storms. Mark?
Yeah, hi there, Alex. Yeah, this is the area we're going to have to watch closely, not only for tomorrow, but into the weekend and possibly into next week. So rainfall totals over the past 24 hours, as you can see for these sites in Washington, ranging from around 0.39 to about just over half an inch of rainfall. We're going to add a lot more rainfall to the forecast. Here is the radar imagery, pretty active right now, as you can pick out. From Portland up to Seattle, the last few frames, the overall coverage has been decreasing somewhat. But not only some rainfall, but also some snowfall. This is a winter weather advisory out for this portion of Washington. And as we check out the radar once again, here's the coverage. All that moisture streaming into the area. It's a continuous band of moisture going out into the Pacific. That's going to set up that wet pattern. Now, we're going to show you a precise number here, but just know that there's still a lot of uncertainty with the exact rainfall forecast. But it could be significant into the weekend and possibly into early next week. So we'll actually refine these numbers over the next couple of days or so, but just know it's not just a few sprinkles, and this could be lasting for several days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and into next week. So that's the focus of the most active weather. In fact, here's the satellite and the radar. You see a big area of high pressure out here in the Pacific, keeping California dry, but that's a focusing all that to rainfall up to the north, a place like Seattle and even Portland. At least for California, we just have some high clouds drifting in out toward Eureka and the Bay Area, out towards Southern California. This was Seattle today, showing you all those dark clouds. Temperature of only 45 degrees in the San Francisco Bay Area. Some haze out there, temperatures in the upper 50s. And then out in the Phoenix area, as you can see here, lots of clear skies, lots of sunshine. Temperatures right around 66 degrees. As we check out current numbers out there right now, Las Vegas in the upper 40s at 48. Reno has cooled off to 39. And it looks like Portland, Oregon reporting 45 degrees. Here's the weather story for tomorrow. Of course, we're watching all this storm energy move into Seattle. So rain, obviously we talked about that. Clearing skies for the Bay Area, lots of sunshine. In fact, for Southern California, out toward parts of Arizona, it looks like more sunshine. And then fair skies out toward Denver. Here's the Fox weather models you can pick out here. There's all that rainfall coming on board up in the Pacific Northwest. This is Friday morning. And then this will actually take this into Saturday as well. And this may continue. Maybe some breaks in the action somewhat as this kind of wobbles to the south a little bit. And those details, that's going to set up just how much rainfall or dictate how much rainfall they do get. Here's the forecast over the next 3 days. We talked about the rain up to the north. San Francisco, sun cloud mix. Los Angeles, a fairly nice pattern, a pleasant pattern, and then some more 40s out toward Denver. So clearly on this map, we'll be watching out for the rain over the coming days for Friday into the weekend and possibly beyond the weekend. Alex.
Tracking those storms in the Pacific Northwest for sure. Okay, Mark, thank you. Hawaii is taking TikTok's parent company to court. The state is suing ByteDance, claiming that TikTok is hurting younger users by being dangerously addictive. The lawsuit targets features on the platform, including the For You page, endless scrolling, and autoplay as ways the company promotes compulsive use. The state is calling for ByteDance to end what it describes as harmful practices and enforce safeguards for younger users. In a statement to Fox Business, TikTok says the lawsuit is based on misleading and inaccurate claims. Well, the technology company is unveiling a new autonomous aircraft that could potentially revolutionize military operations and spare American lives. Fox's Max Gordon has more from the creators of the aircraft, Project Talon.
Tucked away in a hangar in California's Mojave Desert, the future of aerial warfare.
This is a prototype of an autonomous aircraft, what's called a loyal wingman.
It's Northrop Grumman's Project Talon, no humans needed, an aircraft that can fly and fight all on its own alongside piloted planes.
An autonomous aircraft has the capability of doing its mission completely on its own, which obviously frees up manpower so our warfighters can focus on other parts of the job.
While the flying capabilities of Project Talon are impressive, it's the cost effectiveness that sets it apart. According to Northrop Grumman, this aircraft can be made for about a fifth of the price tag of a traditional fighter jet, somewhere in the area of 15 to 20 million per plane. It's a concept they call affordable mass.
So number one, we don't want high levels of loss of life. So the ability to perform these missions uncrewed saves American lives. So don't want to end up where we're losing many, many extremely expensive aircrafts.
The U.S. faces competition from China, which is also developing autonomous fighter aircraft.
China has a pretty good program that they're working on, but frankly, I believe in American innovation.
Development for Project Talon has been done entirely by Northrop Grumman with no funding from the federal government, and they've also been moving fast. They've developed it in 15 months and plan to fly Project Talon within the next 9 months. In Mojave, California, Max Gordon, Fox Business.
Up next tonight here on West Coast Wrap, a scary crash in Arizona captured on a dash camera. Tonight, what some people think is most shocking about the outcome of that head-on collision. Plus, a chef in the Pacific Northwest celebrates receiving global recognition for his craft of pizza making.
Never in my life would I ever thought that I'd get something like this.
Heads up! Cameras captured images of a wild pursuit in Vancouver, Washington last night. Sheriff's deputies used a tool that's similar to a grappling hook to stop a car that was reported stolen. After that, investigators say the car was put in reverse and spun out, hitting two patrol vehicles. No one was injured here, and the driver of that stolen vehicle is now facing several charges, including car theft and assault. Newly released dash camera video shows a head-on crash in Arizona that sent a dump truck barreling into the backyard of a senior living home. Fox 10's Kenzie Beach talked with the manager of that home, who says she is amazed that no one was seriously hurt.
I thought it was a bomb, literally, because it was that loud. I mean, I heard accidents happen here in the back, but not that loud.
Annette Giorgio saw the aftermath as the backyard of the senior living home she manages was destroyed Tuesday. But for the very first time, she watched how it all unfolded.
Oh my goodness. Crazy. Oh my goodness.
Annette says the driver of the dump truck was shaking as he stepped outside, with smoke filling the air, but had one thing on his mind.
I'm sorry, but it was not my fault. This is the only thing I have to prove.
The truck driver sharing this dash cam footage with Fox 10. It shows the moments the white Tesla crossed over into oncoming traffic, dodging one car and smashing right into the massive truck head on. The truck, trying to avoid oncoming traffic, sideswiped one car before landing in this backyard.
And then after that was boom, boom, boom after.
The trail of brakes leads right into where this cinder block wall once stood, leaving a gaping hole as it was towed away. Now a temporary fence stands in its place.
The driver said he grabbed all the brakes he could grab.
Knowing the massive truck was filled with over 20 tons of rocks, he used every emergency brake available.
I was afraid that's going to get on fire, so immediately I sent my employee to go and get the patient that was in this room away and move all the patients in front of the house.
The home filled with 10 patients was evacuated as the crash came within feet of some patients' bedrooms. Multiple cars totaled, the wall, water line, and backyard destroyed. Both drivers were taken to the hospital with only minor injuries.
All these things can be fixable. Lives are the most important thing, and that's what we're thankful for.
And that was Fox 10's Kenzie Beach reporting tonight. The Tesla driver in that crash was cited for 2 minor traffic violations. The investigation into the cause of the crash is ongoing still tonight. And finally tonight, a pizza maker in Washington State has earned global recognition, becoming the first non-Italian to receive one of the industry's most exclusive awards. Will Grant owns Sourdough Willie's in Kingston. The pizza place has been in his family since the 1980s, and now Grant says he is the first non-Italian to win the Premio Falli Lifetime Achievement Award. That award is an honor from Italy that recognizes a lifetime dedicated to the craft of pizza.
Growing up, like you said, in the Pacific Northwest, in not being an Italian descent, being Scottish, Norwegian and German, and, never in my life had I ever thought that I'd get something like this.
Grant is also one of only 4 certified master pizza chefs, aka master pizzaiolos, here in the United States. I got to try those pizzas. All right, that does it for West Coast Wrap. Have a great night.